Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my Author's Answer video for January 2024. The Author's Answer series was started by AuthorTuber J.D. Archer. He started it with his writing community on his blog, and they posed a bunch of reading and writing questions to each other, which they then answered in various blog posts. And then JD made a variety of videos for AuthorTube online as well, so I'll link to all of that information down below. I have been addressing these questions sequentially for several years now. I answer one per month in chronological order, as implied. And this month I am up to question number 82, which is to ask, how would you go about procuring book cover art for your manuscripts? So I actually recently came off of a Microsoft Teams call with my beta reading group where we are reading each other's science fiction and fantasy manuscripts. And the end of our conversation devolved a bunch into publishing talk, but we, I think all of us, at least for now, want to start with the option of going into the agent querying trenches to try to find a traditional publishing deal. And in that case, the book cover options might be a little more limited if we were actually to get a traditional publishing deal. Although we did talk a little bit in our talks about, querying agents and all of that, a little bit about book covers and what we thought of them. But when it comes to JD's group, I think most of his writing group did publish independently and had to go out on their own and try to figure out this question. And that was interesting, certainly a lot more interesting than, well, I hope I get traditionally published and the idea is taken out of my hands. Or, I mean, we all hope for, a good collaboration with, whatever designer is on hand for that. But even going into traditional publishing, I think most people would agree that it would be good to have some knowledge of book covers and how they work as a marketing tool. So I haven't done a whole lot of research on this yet because frankly it's well beyond where I am right now with my fantasy manuscript, but I did just for this video pull up one resource which gives a sort of a summary view of book covers and their purpose, and there's such things in this article that I'll link down below about elements of cover design, and what's like in vogue for different genres, color psychology, about like what different colors make you think of emotionally, so that which should match, the emotions of the story. And then stuff like cost of cover design. I mean, these things seems like they could range widely. Like, you could go to Fiverr or something, and usually those are cheaper designers you find there, but I don't know. In general, it does feel like it's one of those things where quality does come with increased price. But also in that vein, honestly, a lot of people will have budgetary concerns that will preclude them from some options. So it does go a little into pre-made versus custom book cover design. And a lot of people do choose pre-made design. And then how to hire a professional cover designer. So I'll link to that again down below. So as for me, if I were looking at independently funding book cover design, well, I hope would be part of a strategy I have where I could, accumulate some budget to be able to pay for, maybe a more high-end design, which I could search for, especially by looking at some of my own favorite book covers and looking to see if I could contact the designers. Although part of me would just love to, I don't know, reach out to my friend who's a graphic designer and go from there. Which also makes me think, generally speaking, I wonder what my fantasy book cover should look like. And I guess I'm of two minds about it, because it's a book that's really deep into world building, so it almost makes me feel like I should have a cover that privileges a view of the capital city and all of its intricacies. But it also is a one-person POV and a buildings roman of sorts, so maybe it should be like one of those close-ups on her. Or maybe I could combine them somehow. I don't know. Those are just my preliminary thoughts. I'm also perhaps hindered by the fact that I'm not the most visual person. Heaven forbid you look at my attempts at making maps of my world. So hopefully I'll be able to collaborate with someone who's much more skilled in that area. So that about covers it for me now. I am very grateful for this question, for taking me out of my usual avenues to think about a different aspect of publishing, which is, after all, very important, especially because we all know that people do judge their books by their covers, seeing them in the bookstore or online or what have you. So it'll certainly be something on the docket if I'm lucky enough to get to that stage with my manuscript. In the meantime, I figure my next video on this channel will be another Am Reading video, which everything feels a bit weird. My schedule's a little bit more off than I hoped. I have some other types of videos that I hope to make as well and squeeze into the end of the month. But I also am hoping to stick with a somewhat weekly Am Reading update, so long as I've read enough, let's hope. And I do also, especially that I've talked with my beta reading group about my latest chapters, have to get back into the writing trenches. I'm kind of excited and kind of nervous given some of the feedback I've gotten about where I'm going next with this story. So lots in the wings for me. And I hope you are all doing very well juggling your commitments and passions. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.